Now we're live. We are live streaming. Welcome, kings and queens, grand risings to all our friends and family all over the world. How are you doing today? I am Queen Aline, and I'm joined with Queen Jenny here, and we are celebrating today, day 10 of our 100-day juice cleanse. So, yay! We wanted to come on and share a little update, how we've been feeling, what's been going on with us, maybe how much juice we've been drinking, any detox symptoms we've been experiencing. We've been getting a lot of questions from our friends and family, so we feel it's important to come on and share a little bit about our journey, show you, well, first of all, we're still standing, we're still kicking. We're feeling great, going through the ups and downs, just, riding the waves. This isn't our first rodeo. Queen Jenny did a 266-day juice cleanse this year, just 6 months ago, where she lost over 130 pounds and released a lot of stuff from her sacred temple, tapped into her divine mission, and has been now serving others and supporting others on their mission. She's my amazing ally, bestie, and partner in health. We've hosted support groups together. She's an incredible, incredible mentor as well. So if you're looking for support, please reach out to Queen Jenny. We work together in the Kings and Queens of Rock community, where we welcome you to come in and join us. And also she's hosting a new support community called the Weekend Juice Fasters to support others on their journey to juicing, and encouraging everybody to juice on the weekends when it's really hard to stay on track and see where that weekend takes you. So thank you so much, Queen, for joining me today. I'm so happy to have you here on day 10. We did an interview last week. I'll be sharing as well, but let's hear first about how you've been doing, how you feeling. You look amazing. You look like you're glowing and shining.
Thank you, darling. You look beautiful yourself. And for those of you who don't know Aline, Aline is amazing. She did create this beautiful support group, Kings and Queens of Raw. She's a wonderful coach. She coached me through my first big juice cleanse, and it was amazing. And she has done many cleanses herself, one over 100 days and many others like 90 something days and 60 something days. So she is very familiar and comfortable with juice fasting and cleansing as well, and is a great support. So I have been doing, I was going to say well, but to be honest, yesterday I was really grumpy, irritable. The day before that, I had a flare up of inflammation. Like I said, I was feeling kind of irritable yesterday and just really not wanting to do anything, low energy, feeling kind of low vibe. And I had a feeling that it had to do with parasites, because honestly, a lot of us on long cleanses between day 8 and 12 experience some sort of parasite release and may not even know it unless we inspect our movement. So I had a feeling that it was coming. And then suddenly, like at midday or so yesterday, I did have a release of parasites, and I felt still very grumpy afterward. So I knew that it wasn't over. I was still feeling grumpy, aggravated, kind of disturbed to know that these things are inhabiting my vessel still, without my permission, and they aren't welcome. So they will continue to disperse as I cleanse the temple. But then later on in the afternoon yesterday, suddenly I drank like a giant watermelon juice. And also I think what's really helping me is too, I'm getting seeded watermelons, and you're juicing, I juice with the seeds in. Seeds in our fruit are very anti-parasitic. It's just like, I feel like God's natural way of helping us to remove them, because we are going to consume them. There's just no way around it. Even if you're like 100% raw, even if you're just juicing, like that doesn't mean that you can't see them. They're not always visible to the eye. And then, they grow inside. So yeah, I was saying the seeds, it's like God's natural combat. I feel like for that, a lot of people, they eat papaya seeds are very, very good for it. A lot of people will eat a scoop of the papaya seeds, or blend them up in their smoothies. But anyway, I think that those watermelons, seeded watermelons are really helping a lot with that. And so I had another round of them leave in the afternoon. One was a foot long. It was so gross. Um, it was the one I sent you the picture of, but it was doubled over. So if it would have been stretched the full length, it was disgusting. I could not believe it. Well, I could, but I couldn't. I felt like I juiced for so long. I got so much out, but that's why I'm back here juicing again, because they're still there. There's still they still need to be removed. And I had eaten some oil and some different foods, when I opened up the window to cook food again, some different things that were probably feeding them and giving them a happy environment. So after that second round of them went yesterday, I felt kind of relieved, and I started to, I clean the house and do different things, and I was feeling a bit better. And also I didn't sleep well the night before. So that's a sign sometimes too, like I haven't been sleeping well the last couple days. So today I woke up feeling so much better. Whenever I put my video check-in for YouTube yesterday, you all will see, for any of you that go back and watch it, I was feeling like in the dumps. I have a headband on. I never even fixed my hair. I have a sweats on all day. But sometimes that's what you need to do, when you're healing. It's not always comfortable. It's not always easy. Sometimes it's painful. Sometimes it's gross. But it's just a part of it. So we give ourselves a lot of compassion. We stay in our sweatpants all day if we need to, and we just give ourselves a lot of love while our body works really hard to expel the things that are not serving us. So that's what I did. And today I'm feeling a ton better. Woke up this morning, played music with the kids, danced around, made them some pancakes, drank some coconut water. I've got my first big watermelon juice right here that I juiced last night. My husband, he doesn't like to grab watermelons because he says, well, I don't know if I pick them right. And, I was like, everything to look for, you're just, he's so used to me just picking out the produce. I'm really good at picking everything out. But I'm like, what to look for. And he ended up bringing home the sweetest watermelon last night. I was so happy. When he walked up with them, I could tell he was proud of the ones he picked, and
Aw.
handed them to me. And when I saw them, I was like, oh, those are going to be sweet. They had big yellow spots. They were heavy. They had the webbing, that the pollinators had been on them. And so I juiced one of them last night, and I'll be enjoying one of those soon. But that's how juicing's going so far. I always say juicing is like a roller coaster. Of course, life is, but I think that we're really in tune with the ups and downs whenever we juice, because we're just more connected. Our mind, our heart, our spirit, our body, that whole connection is much more strong and stable. And so we can just really feel the ebbs and the flows more. Yeah, I've just been riding the waves. It feels really good this time and different because, I did it for so long, and I'm seasoned, and I already know what's going on. Like when I'm feeling bad, I'm like, okay, I'm probably disturbing those bad bacteria in my stomach, and they're getting ready to release, and that's why it's important too, I think, y'all, if you're listening, to like get some support, get a coach if you need to, reach out to us if you need some coaching, because it's so much easier, once you get through an extended cleanse and you know what to look for. It's still a lot of having to manage your emotions and everything, but I feel like it gets easier because you're more knowledgeable. Things are going to pass. How great it gets, as you get cleaner and cleaner, and how much better and better you feel. I'm also expelling a lot of mucus. You can kind of hear it in my voice right now. So that's another good sign, which could be seen as like, oh no, am I feeling sick or something? But I'm not feeling sick at all. It's just my body getting rid of all that has accumulated, that is not needed or causing harm. So I think it gets easier as you go and you know what to look for, and you can really recognize that you have all the answers you need inside. as you go along and the more you fast. That was something my friend Alice told me once. I remember my friend fasting with Alice, I asked her about, like, I was in a deep point in that 266 days, and I looked to her for some advice, and she knew I had been juicing so long that, it was something I was going to have to figure out for myself. And I remember kind of feeling like, that wasn't what I wanted to hear, that I had the answers inside. But the more I thought about that and went within, the more I realized that was such a valuable gift she gave me. And she was right. We do have everything we need inside. We have the answers we need inside. And when we get our body clean enough, that's when we can hear. So yeah, so that's where I am with juicing. And I would love to hear, like, how you're feeling, if you've been feeling or experiencing any detox symptoms. I do know we've both been having the really white tongue still. So we know we have some candida and stuff that's bad bacteria. Our bacteria's got to balance out. So how are you feeling? How are you doing, love?
Definitely. Thank you so much for opening that up and for sharing with us so vulnerably. I know it's not easy to share about, the monsters coming out of us, but
Yeah.
and I definitely asked Queen, I was like, do you feel comfortable sharing about this? And she was like, yeah, kind of, yeah. I mean, it's a delicate subject, but I think it's so important, and I really, really appreciate you sharing that, because I mean, this could make the difference in someone's life, who's listening, who's like, why would I juice cleanse, but then there's something inside of them that goes, oh, maybe I have parasites, like maybe I don't want those buggers inside me, and that could be the thing that really, motivates somebody to do a juice cleanse, beyond the weight loss, beyond the, going raw vegan. Like, for me, when I found out that I had parasites inside me, like, that's what really launched my journey to think, like, wow, I really need to do whatever I can to get these out and get the mucoid plaque out, because my life depends on it. My health depends on it. How can we be thriving and healthy and vibrant and in our mission and doing our purpose if we have all of these invaders inside of us that literally are taking over, that are controlling our mind, that are controlling our cravings, that are like, you know, taking us away from ourselves in a way. Like, this is a coming home to ourselves. And I think it's so important, and more people need to talk about it, I feel. So thank you for opening that door. I've been playing around my poop to see if anything is in there, because I'm sure, like, when I did my 166 days, sorry, 100, sorry, back up. I mixed our two juice cleanses together. 113 days. When I did my 113 days, I did see some, like, on the mucoid plaque, that I passed. But I don't know, I was so grossed out, like I wasn't even playing around in there. I was just like, oh my God. But I know I passed them, and I felt so much better after. It does feel like an emotional release. It does feel like such of a spiritual cleanse as well. So I'm hoping to see them. I'm excited to see them. I do have some herbs as well that I'm going to be taking alongside my juice, and I'll keep you posted with that. But I haven't had any bowels. I had a few for the first few days, and then around now is when they come back. So the recent stuff comes out in the first few days, but then once that's done, you've eliminated everything. It's normal on a juice cleanse to not have bowels for a few days after that. So maybe like till day 10 or 14. And so mine are kind of starting back again, and it's old and it's stanky. And it's like,
Yeah.
I know it's not recent stuff. So yeah, we accumulate a lot of poop inside of us. Incredible, over years and years of cleansing it takes to get it all out. So I had a really rough day on day 5, I would say. So we're on day 10. Yeah, day 5 was like, oh my gosh, I was so irritable. I was grumpy. I was crying, impatient. I had also been going through some things, emotionally in a relationship. So there was a lot going on. And I feel like these things kind of magnify when you're on the juices, right? It's like even circumstances or people, may just turn upside down when you're on a juice cleanse, just because, like, that's the energy of it. And we become such, like, high frequency beings that things just will naturally start to evolve, shift, morph. And there's a lot of like radical self-acceptance that has to happen in these times, you know. So I've been resting, taking a lot of time for myself. You know, of course, I'm being with others also, but I really need to like come home to myself a lot during this cleanse and just be with myself. Um, a lot of, like you said, the white tongue, like my mouth is detoxing so much. I feel even more than the first extended juice cleanse. Da-da-da-da. I used to have a lot of more breakouts, but I haven't been, just a couple little breakouts have been coming up on my skin. I've been needing more sleep the last few days. So I've been just resting a little bit more. But then other days I'm like, I need no sleep. I woke up after like 5 hours and couldn't go back to sleep. So more energy. I feel so light on the juices. I feel like a total liberation, a total freedom. You know, to many people this feels like restriction. To me this is like, oh, like I'm with the angels. I feel so much better. I don't have to think about what I'm doing next. I know I got my juices, I got my coconut water. I can think about other things. I could just be, live, be happy, because I was getting myself into some like food addictions. And then when I eat the salt and the cook, like I literally become so lethargic after. I don't want to do anything. I just want to sit around and be lazy. So this gives me the energy I need to, you know, be walking around town, go swimming. I started working out again. I went to yoga yesterday. So much energy, so much more mental clarity as well. So yeah, I'm super excited about this juice cleanse. Like I am so grateful for you too. You know, support, like you said, is everything. Every time I do have cravings, and I won't lie, like they do come. Like I was sitting, actually, I was craving some stuff I haven't craved in a long time. I was sitting at my favorite little restaurant here in Placencia, and somebody was eating a fish burger next to me, and I could smell it like it was coming upwind from the beach. And I was like, oh my God, that smells so good. And I could just like, I was like imagining it. I even started salivating. My whole body was just like, I want that fish burger, you know, like, and I haven't eaten fish in 10 years. And I don't even particularly like fish, you know, it's not my favorite thing to eat. But it was just smelling so good. And yeah, and I just sat there. I didn't even run away from it. I just sat there and like breathed through the craving, breathed through the emotion, was like, is it really me who wants this? Is it really like what is going on? And I just drank more juice. Like I have this bottle here that I carry around everywhere, and you know the bar fills it up with orange juice, and I just like, please more juice. You know, because I do make some juices here, but I don't make the orange juice because I don't have my presser. So the orange juice I go and I buy it, and I make sure they don't have any sugar and all that. So yeah, cravings. Even cravings for smoking had been coming up. You know, a lot of my friends here, they smoke, and ooh, that's a hard one for me because it's always been like, well, what's a joint? Like, it's just a joint. It's just a joint. Just a joint. What the fuck? Like, who cares? You know, that who cares mentality. I'm in Belize. I don't have my daughter. And that's a situation that I've caught myself in many times before where, you know, her dad is here, so he looks after her. So this is like the only times I really get a break in my life, you know, from my daughter, like from taking care of my daughter. So it's kind of like I've been in like, oh, go into party mode if you're on your own and you can, but it you know, that joint is not just a joint. It represents so much more to me, you know, and I'm not saying not for everybody, but for me, it can be a gateway to other things, to wanting to drink, to doing other drugs. So to me, the cannabis is like very dangerous, you know, even though the joint is pretty harmless in itself. But to me, I feel like it's only a matter of time until I want something else and a bigger high. And it just, the whole thing starts to fall, you know, get out of control pretty quick, you know, especially if I know I have a few days. Like I used to calculate my relapses and be like, okay, I have so many days, like I'm gonna, you know, binge on it for a few days and then I'll be good. That never happened, you know. Like I was never good after those few days. It was like drama, and you know, the take the kid away, go back to rehab, because I have it in me where I can't stop. And that's something that I've had to come to terms with, that, you know, some people seem to have a better grasp over their addiction. I don't know, I'm not in their shoes, but they seem to be able to stop when I couldn't stop. Like I would just go for days and days and days, and I just had no stop to me. And it's not because I'm weak. It's not because I have no self-control. It's not because I don't have mental power. You know, I've heard this before, like your mind is weak. You don't have self-control. You have to control yourself. You have to have self-discipline. How the fuck do you want to have self-discipline with crack cocaine? Like, you tell me that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Some people seem to be doing better. I couldn't have control over it, you know? So I have to be conscious of that all the time. And it's the same with the food. Like, I always compare those addictions because they're not the same in the nature, but if I open the door to a French fry, it's gonna open the door to, you know, the maybe the Diet Coke again, and maybe the, you know, the like Chinese food again, and the rice and the breads, you know. So there's always this like snowball effect that happens very, very quick in my life. And I need to stay on the fruit. Like, that's at the end of the day, that's what I'm striving for, is like 95% fruit and maybe some greens incorporated in some juice form. I think to me that's the best. Because even the salads, you know, and I'm thinking like, what am I going to eat after this juice cleanse? Like, what is my ultimate goal? What am I going to do after? Am I going to try to find the balance? Am I going to still have a little bit of cooked foods? Like, and it's bringing up a lot of anxiety because the little bit of cooked foods for me, oh, like it also turns into the like snowball effect of the drug relapse. So I'm coming to terms, and this juice cleanse is really to like help me to transition to like a fruitarian lifestyle. This is, you know, where I'm at, and I'm not saying it, you know, it's where everybody's at, but I really strive to be like on the fruit, because, you know, after our cleanse that we did with Queen Alice, I was like, this is it. Like, I just knew on an inner level, like, I'm meant to be eating on mono fruits, you know, one fruit at a time, fill myself up, and then move on to the next. Few hours later, mono fruit, juices, mono fruit, like, that's it. That's where I feel my best. And I do love salads. I'm not here to like demonize salads at all. Like, I love salads. I just struggle with salads with no salt. Like, that's the thing, is like the salt is often the salad is often a gateway to the salt and the fats and all those other things. So I think salads are great. But I think for me, like, I prefer to juice them. If I'm gonna feel the call to have some greens, I may have like a green juice and put all the salad stuff in a juice and then have it that way. But salads are amazing, especially when we're transitioning to living foods, when we're transitioning to like plant-based foods. Like, have the salad, have the big bowl of salad, and make sure it's huge and full and lush. You know, I did that for many, many years. I was having the giant bowls of salads with avocado, hemp seed dressings, you know, soaked pumpkin seeds, all the veggies. But be mindful of like food combinations as well. Like, I wouldn't put fruit in that salad if you're having nuts and seeds. Yeah, all this to say I'm doing great.
You're doing fabulous. And you brought up like so many gems, you know. I think the first thing was you were talking about, you know, just addiction. Some of us have addictive tendencies, you know, and it's really important for us to recognize that, because it can go further than, excuse me, y'all, I feel like this stuff is expelling and it's a good thing. But you know, a lot of us have addictive personalities, tendencies, and it's really beautiful that you're connecting with yourself and recognizing you know, what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And I feel like that's so much of the journey. You know, you were talking about self-control and self-discipline and this and that. And I think that, you know, people saying that, you know, about having self-control and self-discipline, but I think that, you know, it's a lot of it is like reprogramming, and that takes so much time. You know, it's not like you can do one thing and then you're like, oh, I'm fixed. Like, I'm not going to have any problems anymore. Just like me, 266 days on juice. And I did a couple months just fruit afterward, and I was doing really good. But as soon as I opened the door, it just flooded in and my body didn't respond well. So I think that it's beautiful that you're paying attention to that and that you recognize that. And, you know, I believe cannabis is a plant medicine, just like I know you're really into plant medicines and So a lot of us do utilize it as medicine, and I think that's a beautiful thing too. But there still always is that balance with everything of figuring out what works for you personally. So, and I'm just reiterating this for everybody out there. So everybody out there, if you're struggling with something that some people don't struggle with, that's okay. And you can just recognize that for what it is and make the adjustments that you need to make personally. Just like I remember when I had to stop eating rice, I don't inherently think that rice is like a terrible thing, to be honest with you. I support like the whole food plant-based movement of like eating clean, simple ingredients like rices, potatoes, steamed vegetables. I think that's great if that works for your body and your body's responding well to it. For me, rice gives me inflammation. So that's something I had to stop having. So it's okay for us to just know inside that just because something works for someone else doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for us. So I love that you said that. And then the other thing you mentioned was day 5, you were having strange cravings. Hold on one second. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but my kids got their tablet right next to the computer.
Thanks everybody for joining us. Let me just take a moment to see who is on. Okay, she's back.
Sorry
Hold
about that. I wasn't sure if you could hear it or not.
No, I can hear it.
Oh, but you can go ahead and say hi to everybody, and then I'll talk. The next thing I was going to mention was the cravings, so don't let me forget. But go ahead. Who all's on? Hi, everybody.
Yeah, we got a lot of people, a lot of kings and queens. Queen Rosie, King Stephen, Queen Christine, King Michael, Liliana, Irene,
Love you
Nicole.
all.
Thank you all for joining us. Amelie, Cynthia, Rick, King Ken, yes.
Hi, everyone.
Olga, love you all so much. Thank you for joining us. Queen Nancy.
Absolutely. We appreciate y'all. We love you. We support you in all of your endeavors, and you deserve health and happiness and love and light. And we are just so happy to be able to, spread this message. And it's sometimes I feel like fruit and vegetables is the good news. I grew up in the Catholic Church, and they talk so much about spreading the good news, spreading like God's word. And I really feel like this is the good news, like healing with the plants that God has provided us to heal with. So I wanted to talk about too, just mention, like you brought up a really great point about the cravings. I was having bad cravings too on day 5. And something I wanted to mention to you is I do realize, like I even put in my little YouTube check-in that I did, like, hey, I am craving some weird stuff, like meat. I was craving meat too. And I've been vegan for 8 years. I haven't had meat in 8 or 9 years. Like, I'm not eating meat again. Like, there's no desire there, mentally, but physically, my body was asking for it. But guess what? Our bodies weren't asking for it. It was those critters. So I wanted to mention that to you, because you were feeling grumpy and irritable and you were having those cravings. I was too. And I was like, oh, okay, I know I'm going to have some parasites come out in a few days. Like, it's starting. The die-off is starting, because it takes time, right? They don't just die and come out. They still have to make their way through a gazillion feet of intestines, and just think they get caught in there. And it's just gross. But yeah, I thought you made a really great point about that. And it was just a good thing to point out to people. Sometimes when you're having cravings for really strange things, when you're juicing, it's not you having the craving. It's something inside of you saying, please feed me. This is what I want, and it's scientifically proven that parasites and things like that we host have an effect on our mental health and the way that we think and our thought processes. So
yeah. And on a day-to-day basis, even when we're craving those things and we're just so used to eating them, we are literally feeding them.
Yeah. I had completely broken my sugar. I was a sweet tooth, like always eating all the sugary things. And actually, right after you left town, before we did this juice cleanse, there were some peanut butter cups, some vegan peanut butter cups in this house. And I was like, I'm going to have one. And I did. And then that turned into, I'm going to have another one. I'm going to have another one. And I realized right away, was like, oh no, I must be feeding something in there that really likes these, and I was so glad to get rid of them, get them out of the house. But, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there because I think that a lot of us, we blame ourselves, we guilt ourselves, we say, why can't I do this? Why am I failing? I can't get this right. And, you're doing a wonderful job. We are all doing a great job, just even being on this path, and it's not as black and white as why am I not able to use my self-discipline to do what it is that I want. It doesn't all come down to discipline. Discipline is a big part and it's helpful. But discipline, I don't even like that word. It's more like practice to me. We practice and we practice and we practice. And we just continue to practice. And, some days we don't do as well as others, but it's just reestablishing those habits.
How do you move through those cravings? Maybe we could share a little bit, because I know a lot of people, when they're on a juice cleanse, when those cravings start to hit, and they're not maybe aware that it's the parasites, but now they are. But then, like, how do we move through those moments? Because that could really be the moment that somebody breaks their fast and they break it with something that could be very harmful to them. Just want to mention that too, that the longer you are on a juice cleanse, the more dangerous it is and the more painful it would be if you break it with anything other than juicy fruit. Like, if you're on a juice cleanse, it's very important to break it at any point. Like, if you decide to come off at any point, please break it with juicy fruit like watermelon or cantaloupe or even grapes or something like that. Something that's very, very watery, not bananas, but something watery. But oftentimes people will break their fast with like a big bowl of pasta or even beans and rice, or, and that could be very, very damaging. You could even end up in the hospital, like, no joke. I even heard of somebody who broke it with potatoes and he ended up in the hospital. So you have to be very careful how you break your fast. And the deeper you go, the more important it is that you break it with fruit. So anyway, all this to say, if you're thinking of coming on a juice cleanse and you break it, just be mindful how you break it. You need a few days to reintegrate other foods, go into the fruit and then go into the greens. And then if you're going to have some cooked foods, then have the cooked foods, but definitely don't break it with cooked foods. So how do you move through cravings? Like, you were thinking about meat the other day, you knew you had these parasites inside of you. Like, what are some tools and tricks that you utilize to move through that?
So this is going to be my number one tip. If you are feeling any kind of disalignment, if you're feeling discomfort, if you're feeling irritability, if you're having cravings, if you're feeling fatigue, if you're just feeling something's off, my biggest tool is to go for self-care. Like, if you have any kind of feeling in your body that is not harmonious, then you are in need of some love. So my biggest suggestion, number one, is to get more light into your body. And fruit has more light than any other food. Okay, scientifically proven. There's more angstroms of light in fruit than anything else. So give yourself some fruit. And on that note as well, for what you said about it being dangerous to break with something, be very careful, like Aline said, about how you break your fast. And my suggestion is break your fast with something you've already been juicing. So for me, I'm going to be juicing mostly watermelon this whole time. I've been drinking 90% watermelon juice at this point. And I'm making sure to take like my sea moss. So I'm getting all my minerals, because I do think it's important. I do think the green juices are important. But if you're not drinking a lot of green juice, I highly recommend like bumping up like the sea moss, because that's got so many minerals in it. So that's how I feel like I'm making sure I'm getting those vitamins and minerals in. But you're going to want to go into your toolbox of self-love when you're having these feelings of disgruntledness or irritability or craving or fatigue. First of all, go get yourself some light. Put juice in your body. If you're feeling any discomfort whatsoever, drink juice. That's what you need to do. And if you don't want to drink juice, you should still drink juice. This is one of the most important things that Aline taught me. And it will help you, because say you're feeling not great and you're not wanting juice, it's probably your parasites that don't want juice. Okay. So keep on flushing those things out. And if you don't drink your juice, you're going to find yourself with slow transit in your bowel. So those things that are dying off and wanting to leave are not going to be being washed away like they need to be. Another tip for me is to I have a list of self-care things that I enjoy that bring me happiness, and I pick off that list. And that's my number one suggestion for people, is to have a list of things that bring you joy, happiness, uplift your spirit, and then utilize those things. So I turn on music, me and you with our 80s music, dancing around the house while we do all the things. I get on the rebounder. One that's so important, so helpful and overlooked, is just to go stand in the sun. Get more light into your body, ground on the earth, put your feet in the grass if you can. Some of you utilize plant medicines. So if you utilize plant medicines, utilize them in this instance. Last night, I was feeling like I needed a little upliftment, and I don't do this very often, but I drew myself a bath, and I put in Epsom salt, and I put in lavender and, essential oils, and I got in there and I relaxed. So that's something else you can do. Just basically things that bring you joy. Watch people on YouTube juicing if you like to do that. That helped me so much through my juicing journey, was just to watch other people and to cheer them on and feel like we were all supporting one another, and like, some way. And I've messaged a lot of people like now that things have gone by, and said, hey, thank you. Like, I watched your videos while I was juicing, and it made me feel like, other people were doing it with me. So that's my biggest advice. Get light into your body, whether it's via the sun or fruit or both. And if you do them together, then that's even better. You're really going to be feeling good. Like, if you go outside with a juice and sit in the sun and drink your juice in the sun, it is going to uplift you so quick. So that's my biggest tip, is love yourself. When you're feeling any kind of misalignment in your body, in your spirit, you need to love yourself, and you need to bring in more light.
Such great advice, my love. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. And you've certainly been helping me so much through all my juicing and staying on track as well. So thank you so much. Cool. And being with you too, has been so important, so beautiful to, start this journey together. It really helps to have an accountability partner. And Queen Angela as well, I wanted to mention, she's on day 14. I think she started 3 or 4 days before us, so day 13. So she's also on the juicing train with us, and we love having you on as well. You've been such a great support to us all on this journey. And yeah, we got to take all of our tools in our tool belt and apply them. And this is a great time. I find doing yoga and breathing deep, all those things start to kick in more easily when I'm on the juices. Whereas when I'm eating, I don't really that is my comfort, eating is my comfort. So I don't really use all those tools. But then when I find myself juicing, I need to utilize those tools so that I can move through the difficult emotions, and just accepting that things are going to come up. If we're numbing ourselves with food all the time and we're pushing them down and not wanting to feel, which I feel like salt, oil, cooked foods, that's what it does. It's a numbing agent, from our feelings, from our true emotions. Then, we're going to have to feel things. We may have to cry. But also we may feel more joy at certain times. We may experience that feeling of euphoria. I went out the other night and I had so much fun with my friends, and I partied till 2 a.m. stone cold sober on juices.
High on juice, high on life, baby.
Yeah. And I was literally in the club, just partying it up, and I was like, oh my god, I've arrived. I've come to this point, I know, where I could be around others who are drinking, smoking, doing all the things, and I have no desire to do it, no desire to partake, because I know where it's going to lead me to. Whereas my juices, really help me. I also do microdose. I do want to mention this, that I do. You were talking about plant medicine. I microdose with iboga every single day. Like, that is my medicine. And sometimes I microdose on mushrooms as well, psilocybin. So I do, and I do take some superfoods as well, and that really helps me to move through some cravings as well. Some aminos really, really are beneficial for when we're juicing, just to help, like, curb the cravings. I don't take the aminos every day, but sometimes I do. But yeah, the iboga. So before I go out, if I know I'm gonna have a big night, like, I might take 1 or 2 ibogas, and it's not enough to have me like go into a journey or have any visions or anything like that, but it does keep me leveled, and it really helps me with my cravings. This is what helped me the most overcome my addictions. So if anybody's interested in learning more about iboga, I am super happy to share. You can either microdose with it or go through a journey. I travel the world to serve. So if anybody would like me to come and serve them, like, it would be my greatest honor. Or I could help you to get some. It's completely changed my life. So yeah, definitely iboga is really, really powerful for addictions. And what else? Yeah, people are asking us what our favorite music is from the 80s.
We put it on shuffle. We
Yes.
put it on shuffle and like love
Take
most of it. And
on me. Take me on. Like that.
oh my goodness, so funny. Yeah, and on the plant medicines too, like, yeah, I think it's really important for us all to just recognize different things help us in different ways and can be used supplementally, like I'm also a big fan of like cannabis tea. I think that that's a really good one to help calm and relax and not have to have the smoking aspect. And so, yeah, it's just all about utilizing, the plants in every form, and they're just all gifts from God and just beautiful helpers, I feel like.
The CBD, you just reminded me of the CBD. We need to talk about that. Oh my gosh, we have some amazing CBD available. Like, and I haven't tried it until I got to your house.
Yeah.
But Purium has like the best CBD in the world. And because I'm in
So good.
Canadian, don't ask me why, but we can't get it shipped to us, but I've always wanted to try it. So link up with either Jenny or myself, and we will link you up with some like super beautiful, pure, divine CBD, and it tastes nice. It has a little minty flavor, but
Yeah.
I felt such a
Peppermint oil.
relaxing effect from it, and I took like a tiny little bit. So if anybody's into CBD, like, we have that available, and we need to talk about this more, girl, because it could help somebody.
Yeah, I forget because I only take it every so often to
Yeah.
help me with relaxation and to help with my nervous system, with calming down my nervous system. It's very helpful in that way. And yeah, that Purium CBD is something special. I've tried a lot of the ones here in the Dallas area, and there's some great ones, but the one from Purium, I'll say the first time I tried it, I took a dose and it knocked me out. I was like, whoa, what happened here? And I had to reduce, and like the next time I took a half a dose. But I don't have it very often because I don't need it very often. But I do know a lot of other people in our group, and one of our friends, Genesis, she is on the spectrum, and she uses it to help her, like when she goes into work beforehand, she uses it to help her like with her focus and everything at work, which is so cool. Shout out to you, Genesis, if you see this. Yeah. But yeah, I think that there are so many different things that we can utilize, and herbal teas. There's so many herbs out there, especially that we just don't even know about. Like right now I'm taking sea moss, but I'm also taking burdock and bladderwrack, which both of those are really good for your blood flow. Because I'm wanting to improve my circulation. It's something that we struggle with in my family. It's very prevalent, poor circulation. So yeah, there's just so many herbs and different things out there. If you are having any kind of issue, you can really Google around, and you're going to find that there are a lot of plants that can support you. There
Yeah.
was something else you mentioned earlier too that I wanted to touch on. I remember what it was. The other thing you were talking about is how you were already thinking about and getting a little bit of anxiety about how you're going to break your cleanse. And I wanted to tell you, I actually have been too. I'm already thinking about it. And if you get on an extended juice cleanse or any kind of juice cleanse, really, we're setting out on this journey to improve something moving forward, to make some changes. So I think we didn't even talk about this or know that each other was thinking about it, and yet we both already are, because we know that it's bigger than the actual fast itself. How you break the fast is bigger than the fast itself. You get to a point where juicing is easy when you're juicing extended, and what becomes difficult is when you shift back into having to make decisions and choose. When you commit in juicing, like it's not even a thought for me when I'm cooking for my kids or whatever. I'm on juice, click, the door is shut. I don't have to go, ooh, do I maybe just want to have one? But once you start eating, that's when you start having those big decisions that you have to make that come with a lot of anxiety and stress. And so it is important to think about how you're going to break. And I'm actually really excited this time for breaking my cleanse. And I've already been formulating a plan. I haven't talked about this much, but my husband and I do really well doing this way that we've kind of created. But well, I don't know, maybe other people do this too, but juice till 4. So like basically when I get off with this cleanse, I really intend to continue juicing all day, and then maybe have a smoothie during the day so it's still semi-liquid, like maybe 2 juices, a smoothie, and then for dinner is when I'll probably have my solids. And some days that may just be a bowl of fruit, and some days it may be a salad. And I'm still not ready to move off of like salads and having that kind of grounding meal in the evening. And again, I think it's beautiful that we just really promote and recognize that it's our own mind-body connection and we're all different. So, there is no right or wrong way to break your cleanse if you're doing it with with a lot of intention and love for yourself. So it is wrong, of course, if you break like pizza. The first time I did, when I broke my 10-day fast, I ate pizza and I suffered dearly. Thank God it was only 10 days. I say only 10 days is amazing too, but I feel like it wasn't far enough in to do like extreme damage. But yeah, I instantly felt inflammation from that. So I've already been coming up with a plan. I ordered on Amazon yesterday and already received my new, what do you call it? Excalibur dehydrator. I never had a good dehydrator before, and I've never been into dehydrating, but I would like to really give the raw foods a chance with like maybe some dehydrated stuff versus the cooked stuff.
Like the wraps and the burgers, maybe.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
got the little things you need to make the wraps in there too. I got those as well. So and I got Raw Food Romance's book with the wrap
I
recipes.
just bought it too. We
Yes.
didn't even talk about this. I just bought it 2 days ago. Yeah.
So I plan on, I bought it a couple weeks ago, but I didn't even have a dehydrator. But see, that's how we start to come in alignment, right? We start to come in alignment, and I don't want to feel too restricted, but I would like to give just a raw diet a nice run for a while. So I've already been thinking about some of the things I want to dehydrate in there. My husband is the king of mushrooms. He's like, oh, I'm going to make mushroom jerky, So we're already thinking about that, like having wraps or salads for dinner, or, some nights we might want to dehydrate like some bell pepper and onion and some different things to make like a fajita type thing in a lettuce cup, just a lot of different things. And I think I am going to be kind of forming like a page about how my family and we all eat, a mixture of cooked and raw and high raw, just for people to kind of be able to see like the way I throw meals together where everyone has an option. So I'll let y'all know when I
Yes, that's
really
great.
get that going, and I'll share a lot of the recipes so everyone can see, the cooked, the raw, the high raw. And I kind of do it in like a buffet way where there's options where everyone can make themselves something, how they want to. But yeah, I'm so excited. I'm excited and already planning. And I'm really glad that you brought that up, because I think that from the moment we start a cleanse, we should start aligning and bringing in our intention for what we plan to accomplish and what we would like to bring with us going forward, and what wasn't serving us before and how we would like to adjust that. So it's so beautiful, and it just goes to show about, like, our coaching. We're like coaching ourselves, and it's just so funny to see us coaching ourselves. Because that's essentially what it is. But these are important questions you want to ask yourself while juicing. What am I planning to do after this? So I'm planning to juice all day and then like have a meal in the evening, because I feel like we really don't need as much as we consume. And when I juice, it really reminds me of how much I actually need. And it's not a lot. People are out here living off air.
Yeah.
So I'm probably just going to keep on juicing all day in the daytimes, and dinner time will be the time to have some grounding, some greens, or whatever it is. And that will also help me keep my salt down, because I had gotten to a point, which I was excited about, prior to this. I had gotten to where if I had a crazy amount of salt, yes, I would swell. But I had gotten to a point where when I consumed just small amounts of salt, like on my salad and with things, I was not having problems anymore. Our bodies can heal and change. So I think it's also important for us to continually try new things, and just like test the waters. I think that's what life is about, within reason, of course, and with intentionality. So don't be afraid to try things, but don't just try things for the taste and for the emotion and the joy. If you're listening to this, try it and then be very intentional, and then listen to your body. How do I feel afterward? Did this make me feel good? Did this make me feel bad? Did it make me feel guilt, joy? Did it cause me swelling, any like digestive upset? Am I experiencing any pains? Did it make me want to have more and more and more? And there are going to be some items that we just have to take extra care with. I call them extra care items, and for me, one of those is salt. I'm not ready to completely remove it from my diet, but I do have to be careful when utilizing it. So the one a day, I think, is going to work really great for me. And then I would like to continue juice fasting on the weekends with my group as much as possible. So I love that you brought that up, because I think that's just such an important thing.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for talking. And then also, like, as you were speaking, of course, like I was feeling super tempted by those wraps. And I also like got those wraps for, as well as like for myself as a security, should in case like I be craving something else, I'd rather go to the raw foods, go to the living foods and have that available, than go to like, swing the pendulum from like all fruit for 20 days to like go for the Indian, super spicy, super cooked foods, you know what I mean? So it would be good for me, I think, to have sometimes an in between, to like I gave the raw foods a chance for a long time, but I was always doing the same thing every night. Like I'm not the kind of person that was like, oh, let me make this interesting recipe, or like I just stuck to one thing and I got really bored. That's just the truth. Like I was making salads every single night, and because they were making me feel good, but I don't know, I didn't have the creativity to start creating other things. So I think it would be good for me to take some time to try, something different and see, maybe like a little wrap. I mean, I saw Raw Food Romances wraps. I couldn't help it. Like I bought it for a little bit for myself, but also to make it for others. But I mean, I'm open to trying it. And she doesn't use any salt too in her recipes, which I really love. And the combinations of her ingredients, they just taste amazing, and they're all like fruit and some veggie base. So I think utilizing a little bit of the dehydrator in moderation, of course, but like having a lot of living foods in the wrap, I wouldn't mind that. That would be nice. And I think for me as well, having struggled with like those extremes, like I'm still in the transition. I do feel like fruitarian is where I feel my best, but can I allow myself to like have a wrap once in a while, like it doesn't mean you're not fruitarian if you have, like some raw foods here and there. It's like, let's do mostly fruit. I mean, there's different definitions, you know what I mean? But we're just doing our best here. And it's, again, it's just labels, that we put on ourselves. But it's good to just be a little flexible sometimes too with our journey, on the way there. Like, I much rather have a veggie wrap than go back to, the Chinese food for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And when we tried those yummy raw wraps that I got at the store recently, I'll have to put a picture up for them for y'all or link them or something, but we tried these wraps before the juice cleanse. And that was what really had me thinking, like, yes, I could find balance. Like, this is something that I don't think the dehydrated foods are the best for us, but neither is like switching over to the cooked food with like a lot of oil, and every once in a while we are going to want something more, so if we can take something that we enjoy and either make it raw or just make it way healthier, then that's going to help us. So when the spit pendulum swings, like you said, it doesn't swing so far. So we had these coconut wraps when Aline was in town. They're raw wraps and they're really thin and they were delicious. And I just put like some avocado on them. And I think I put in I put lettuce, avocado, and maybe a sprinkle of Himalayan sea salt. And I can't remember if I put a few tomatoes in there, and we rolled those up and had them on the way to the mall one day, and everybody loved them. I loved them, and I didn't think I was going to. And Aline loved them, and my husband loved them, and we were all like, wow, we should be like, when we're craving a sandwich, it's a lot better to have like this raw version than to switch to bread. So why not keep this raw version around that's maybe not like the most optimal. You know what? I think that finding balance is one of the hardest things when it comes to life, and especially diet, like even Dr. Morris. I love Dr. Morris. Even Dr. Morris, who, promotes a raw lifestyle, even he doesn't eat raw.
Yeah,
He does
loves
eat
Indian food. We talked about it.
So it's important for us to really recognize, I feel like, and what I've learned in my mindset coaching is that what really matters is what we do 90% of the time. So if 90% of the time I'm eating amazing and every once in a while I want to have some dehydrated food, I think that's a lot better balance for me than every once in a while me going have some Chinese food with the fried egg, the fried spring rolls and the rice and the noodles and all, and the MSG and all the things that pain me, when I could have something that feels like a treat but is still way healthier. And I think that that's really going to help me find balance. And I had felt like I found that a bit after my juice cleanse, my last one, but then when I opened up the door to cook food, I kind of lost it. Because I can eat summer rolls like every day. I love summer rolls, which again, that's another thing that some people in this, it's mainly accepted in the raw community, but spring roll wrappers that we use in these raw wraps, they're not really raw. So again, it comes down to us just finding balance. And like you said, thank you for saying that about the labels, because that's why I don't want to label myself as a raw vegan or a fruitarian or a high raw vegan, or sometimes I don't even like to say vegan anymore, to be honest with you, because I feel like sometimes when we put these labels on ourselves, we put a certain expectation and a burden on ourselves of thinking that we have to fit these sort of check off all these boxes to be able to fit in this club. And if we don't, then people are going to, not love us or not accept us, or say that we're not what we say we are. So break free of those labels. We're human beings. That's what we are, having an experience every day. And it's more important to embrace that and take it for what it is versus trying to fit into somebody else's definition of what a raw vegan is or whatever. So I hope that resonates with whoever's listening, because I do feel like a lot of us get caught up in that trap, and we feel like if we're not doing it 100% this way, then we aren't what we say we are. And that's just not the truth. None of us is ever doing anything 100%. There is no such thing as perfection. Whether you're eating like SOS diet, a whole food plant-based diet, a raw diet, like people in the raw diet eat coconut aminos. Those are not raw anymore. They put them through a pressurization process. Cold pressed juices a lot of times are actually not raw, but you know what? A cold pressed juice is still better than go and get a Coca-Cola.
Cashews are not raw. Almonds aren't raw. You know, a lot of them, they use a lot of those in their recipes. Nutritional yeast, like, so there's a lot of, yeah.
Exactly. So can we just do the best that we can and find balance in our lives in a way that serves us so that we may shine our brightest light out into the world and serve others? And if we focus on that instead of focusing on needing to check off these boxes exactly, we'll be able to have a lot more love and kindness and compassion for ourselves and others. Thank you. I hate the label, so I'm just so glad you brought that up. You know that irks me. It's one thing that irks me. People are like, oh, they're not raw vegan because they do this. Oh, they're not vegan because they had a little bit of honey. Oh, they did that, and it's just like,
Yeah.
Can we just look at what we are doing to help ourselves and to help the world and and embrace that and try to do that more instead of focusing on what we feel like we're doing wrong?
Right. I
Yeah.
agree. And most of us, we're all doing so much good, so much amazing things. And it's easy to pick and tear ourselves apart for those little things that we feel need improving. But we are doing so many great things, each and every one of us, wherever we're at on our journey.
Absolutely. And helping people and inspiring people that we don't even know we're helping.
Exactly.
And you don't even know what can happen. So like Angela, if you're on today, you are helping us so much and you're shining your light so bright. And I'm so proud of you. Like Angela came into our Kings and Queens of Raw, our sweet spot, like our very first sweet spot support group. Angela was there and we were supporting her and helping her. And she juiced and she was able to get off of cigarettes, nicotine, what
Yep.
she said was like her best friend for years and years and years. And now she's on another juice cleanse, a longer juice cleanse, and she's inspiring us and helping us, so the energy is reciprocated. We're able to give love sometimes, and then love is given to us, and it's just such a beautiful thing. You just never know who you're going to inspire, to empower, and we can change our lives. And if you don't get all the results you want from one cleanse, don't beat yourself up or feel down. Look how many times it takes for so many of us to cleanse to get to where we want to be, to fast, to reconnect with our spirit. All of us have done cleanses before, and here we are doing them again because we have areas in our life where we feel we can continue to up level, where we can continue to improve. And this is a tool that aids us to get there exponentially faster. So it's just a beautiful thing. Don't be afraid to share your love, spread your love, and you just don't even know who it's going to help. Like when I started my juice cleanse, I would have never known that me and Aline were going to be best friends. She was just someone in the stars that I could see, but I couldn't touch. You know what I mean? She was so high. And now I'm like up in the sky with her, I feel like, and we're just able to shine even brighter so that other people like me before can see us and can reach, and we're here and we have our hand out and we want to help you to achieve anything you want to achieve. Aline supported me and uplifted me and brought me to just such a beautiful place. And, we're not always able to give out so much energy all the time. Like we do have to go inward. We have to rejuvenate, replenish ourselves, and that's perfectly wonderful too. And it's beautiful to, recognize and to make sure we're taking that care. But when we're able to shine and give, there's just nothing more fulfilling, nothing.
Oh, I know. Oh, you're so amazing. It is an honor and privilege to be flying high with you and to be changing the world. All right, I'm gonna let you go. I know you gotta take care of your little
Yeah, my little ones are like, Mom, where you at? What are you
love you
doing?
all so much. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much, Queen Jenny. You dropped some incredible gems today. This is powerful knowledge, wisdom, inspiration. Thank you for sharing from the heart. This is true service work that you're doing here, opening yourself up and really supporting our kings and queens all over the world.
You, Queen, you're amazing. You are amazing, Queen. I appreciate you. You're the reason why I'm here. And, and now I just feel so blessed to be able to join you and to give back, to those who may be struggling or who are needing some support or some guidance, so
We are
you
in
are
together.
amazing.
Thank you so much. You are, and have always been the wind beneath my wings, and we are definitely keeping each other uplifted, motivated, grounded, stable, and focused. This is what it's all about. Community is everything. Friends are everything. Find yourself, a support system. If you don't already have it, if you're not in our Kings and Queens of Raw community, come into the juice fasting group, the weekend juice fasting group that Jenny created, and get support. Reach out. We're here for you. Love you so much. We will see you again next week. We will do this again next week on day 17 or 18. We'll see.
So we're 10% done with our cleanse already. I can't believe it.
Congratulations, Boo. We did it. We're sailing from here, I feel. Kinda. Maybe some choppy.
I was gonna say, we know that it's ups and downs, but I do feel like after the 10-day mark, it does get easier. It's like, okay, I'm really in this. I'm solidified. Both of my feet are in the pool and I gotta swim now. So yes. Okay, sending you my love. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for being here with us. We appreciate you.
Yes.